Jean Piaget was one of the most influential modern thinkers. He fundamentally altered the view of how a child learns. His ideas about the development of cognition in children change how research is conducted, how curriculum is planned, how preschool programs operate, and many other areas of psychology and education today. Piaget was born on August 9, 1896, in Neuchâtel, Switzerland. He was the son of a scholar of medieval history. He was a child prodigy, and at age 11, he wrote a short notice on an albino sparrow. This was his first scientific paper. This paper was the start of his career. In 1918, after high school, he studied natural sciences at the University of Neuchâtel and received a PhD. During this time, he published 2 philosophical essays. After World War I, he left Switzerland for France. During this time, he became interested in psychoanalysis. He spent 1 year working at the École de la Rue de la Grange Ausbel's Boys Institution. While at the school, he worked with standardized tests, and he noticed that children of the same age made similar errors on true-false intelligence tests. He became fascinated by the children's reasoning processes. He began to suspect that the key to human knowledge might be discovered by observing how the child's mind develops. Piaget remained at the school to study this. During this period, he published 4 papers on the subject. One of the papers caught the eye of Dr. Clarapide, the director of the Institut Jean-Jacques Rousseau in Geneva. He offered Piaget the job of director of research at the institute. This was Piaget's opportunity to begin formal research in children's thought. So even though he had no formal training in psychology, this was the first step in a career that would span over 60 years. Piaget's early work on cognitive development include the language and thought of the child, judgment and reasoning in the child's conception of the world, the child's conception of physical causality, and the moral judgment of the child. These works contain his best-known experiments. Piaget interviewed many hundreds of children and concluded that children who are allowed to make mistakes often go on to discover their errors and correct them or find new solutions. In this process, children build their own way of learning, and the child is able to construct his own knowledge. Through his research, he was able to develop an age-stage approach to cognitive development. He concluded that there are 4 stages of development. The first stage is the sensory motor, from age 0 to 2. Second stage is the pre-operational stage, age 2 to 6. Third stage is concrete operational, age 7 to 11. And the final stage is formal operational, age 12 to adulthood. For each stage, he was able to explain how children learn throughout the different stages. Because of all his research, Piaget has been awarded numerous prizes and honorary degrees all over the world. Some of the universities he received degrees from are Harvard, the University of Brussels, Cambridge, and the University of Rio de Janeiro. Even in his 80s, Piaget continued to do research, writing, and teaching. One of his last works was The Grasp of Consciousness. Piaget died on September 16, 1980. Piaget was one of the first psychologists to suggest that cognitive development begins at birth. Even though his theory has been expanded and changed by others, the main concepts still remain the same. That is why today it is still used by developmental psychologists and educators to help explain how children's knowledge develops.
En effet, le vrai problème de l'éducation, c'est quel est le but de l'éducation? Est-ce qu'il nous faut former des enfants et des individus qui soient simplement capables d'apprendre ce qui est déjà connu, de répéter ce qui est déjà acquis par les générations antérieures?